animals, especially the horses, were being neglected and not looked after correctly. For our 31 equines, our food bill is about €3,500 to €4,000 a month. Often they've been standing in stables full of muck, which has given them a disease called thrush, which makes their feet very soft and painful. This creates blood clots, which then create huge amounts of damage in the horses. Hello everybody, welcome to Tenerife Horse Rescue. Standing up here you can have an overview of our sanctuary. We have 31 equines here amongst about 500 other animals. It started off as Tenerife Horse Rescue because when Emma and Edo, the owners and founders of the sanctuary, came to Tenerife, they found a lot of animals, especially the horses, were being neglected and not looked after correctly. A lot of this comes from the fact that people here don't have a huge amount of money, and grazing in particular is very, very hard to find. For our 31 equines, our food bill is about €3,500 to €4,000 a month. That's just to feed them. So we take them out to graze as much as we can, and they'll pick up what they can find, which adds to their diet. We feed them a mixture of foliage, so forage foods, which is high in fibre and low in carbohydrates and sugars, which is really, really good for a horse. They don't want to be eating a lot of sugary, hard food. In the wild, a horse will only spend about 3 hours a day sleeping in small segments of the day. The rest of that time that they're grazing and walking between grazing sites, so just walking and eating small pieces of grass with very low nutrient values throughout the whole day. And ideally in captivity we want to simulate this. So we don't want to give them 3 big meals a day like as humans we would like to eat. We want to give them a lot of grazing. Therefore we give them the hay and straw that we import. Another fantastic source of food that we import is the Parvo fibre nugget pellets, which are a hay-based pellet containing all the minerals and vitamins that a horse needs. So it's a supplement to the hay and straw that they get as well. So every day our wonderful group of volunteers on the finca here take our horses out for a walk around the finca, and as a reward when they get back we let them have a bit of our precious grass. We've been trying to grow grass here on the finca because, as you can see, if my beautiful camera woman would like to just show you around a little, there is no grass. We live in a desert and everything that does grow ends up just going brown and dying away. So our garden team grew us a patch of grass, but this is about as much as we can make because of the amount of irrigation grass needs. It's impossible to keep it wet and damp enough to grow more than that. So it's our sort of prized possession for the horses. Here you can see our lovely big bales of straw and hay. I love it when this area is filled, so we have plenty of food for our horses. The bales of hay here cost €140 each, and the bales of straw around €90 each. It's an expensive business, this owning horses. Many of our horses come in with special feet problems as well. Often they've been wearing shoes for a long, long time, but they haven't been properly managed, so they haven't had their shoes changed regularly. Often they've been standing in stables full of muck, which has given them a disease called thrush, which makes their feet very soft and painful. Consequently, we use these amazing hoof boots. These are my favourite brands. They're a brand called Cavallo. They're brilliant boots. They go on really easily and they protect the horse's foot from the hard stones that we have here in Tenerife. We use these boots. Sometimes the horse will need the boots forever because their feet are so damaged from their past that they will never get better. And sometimes we can just use them for a rehabilitation time, and after a while their feet will harden up and then they will be able to walk barefoot. Another wonderful thing that people donate to us, which is incredibly useful for our horses, are you smiling? Are these fly rugs. Chantier has to wear one to protect from the sunburn actually. So for him it's more about sunburn than it is about flies. But other horses that really suffer from the fly bites wear these wonderful rugs that people donate to us. And then also because it's incredibly windy here and very, very dusty, Our horses wear fly masks. They're beautiful. And this keeps all of this dust that you can see on the outside out of the horse's eyes. And it's something else that we really need to have for our horses here in Tenerife. A lot of the blood clotting happens to our horses because they're stagnant, so they're not given enough exercise in their life. They're just kept in small boxes and stables. This creates blood clots, which then create huge amounts of damage in the horses, and these help with them. And then we have our usual iodine and agua oxigenada used for cleaning wounds. They often come in with a lot of different wounds on their bodies and with their feet. So we get through a lot of this as well, so a lot of medicines needed. Also, twice a year our horses need worming, so we use a wormer. And they also have to have a celium husk treatment every year. Where we live here is incredibly dusty and sandy, and when they're eating it's inevitable that they pick up a lot of the dust and sand in their stomachs as well. This sits in the stomach and creates difficulties within the gut. And the celium husk treatment removes the sand out of the stomach, so that's necessary for them living here in the desert. Something I'd never heard of before when I was living in England. So I just want to, in conclusion, say thank you ever so much to everybody that has donated to Tenerife Horse Sanctuary. Your money is really, really appreciated, and I hope you can see what it's spent on. Thank you from me and from the wonderful horses here whose lives you guys make possible.